Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of Mike's RC Review, reviewing the now complete LC70 from Killer Body. I do have a confession to make. This is not the silver one that I initially built, because the silver one that I initially assembled or built, whichever way you want to put it, is actually the DIY, or was the DIY version of the LC70 from Killer Body. Whereas this one here is the Traxxas TRX4 specific body. So the difference being, this is actually a 324mm body, meaning it's made to fit the Defender TRX4, which is 324mm. And it also, out of the box, comes standard with the fender flares and the mounting brackets, which you will need to actually mount it onto a TRX4 chassis. Whereas the DIY version, FYI, does not come with the mounting brackets, nor does it come with the fender flares as standard from the box. So unless you purchase them separately from Killer Body, when you open the box of a DIY version LC70, you will be disappointed, because you're going to have to buy them. So you're better off, if you do own a TRX4, to actually buy the TRX4 version. I only went the DIY version because it was the only kit available in Australia at that time, and my impatience got the better of me because it was a $400 loss. Lucky I was able to recoup half of that, because I did manage to sell it on eBay for half the price that I bought it for. But I will never get back, obviously, the labor that I put into it, and the spray paint that I purchased for the silver one. Now, those that have done research would know that the TRX4 specific LC70 from Killer Body does not come in white like the DIY kit does. This actually comes in an olive green or a desert tan. So those that do the research will know that the Killer Body LC70 does come out of the box in either the desert tan version or the olive green. So if you want it to be any other color bar those two colors, you will need to paint it, and that's what I did. So being that these vehicles are so popular here in Oz, a lot of the times you will see them in various different colors, but majority of the time you will see them in white. And that's the reason why I painted it in Toyota white. I don't know the color code for it, but it is a Toyota paint, and it is the paint that does go onto the Land Cruiser. So I purchased the paint from my local store. I got it mixed up, so I actually had to get the paint code from Toyota, and my auto parts store actually mixed the paint up for me and put it into a spray can. So I was able to spray it this color, even though it is a boring color being white. At the end of the day, I painted the other one silver. I was happy with it, but I think it would have actually ended up being better as a white vehicle, being that it's made to look like a tradie vehicle or a trades vehicle. And a lot of the times people here in Oz buy these, they're builders or plumbers or even farmers actually. A lot of the times buy this vehicle, and they use them more for agricultural use or work use, to either tow a trailer. This vehicle from factory can tow up to 6,000 pounds or 3.5 tons, and it is powered in Australia by one engine, and that is a single turbo diesel V8, pumping out around about 140, I think 150 kilowatts, so not too powerful, but it pumps out around about 450, I think, newton meters of torque. You will need to convert those into your local conversions, whether you use horsepower or foot-pounds. But in Australia, these are actually powered by a V8 engine, unlike in other markets where they're powered by V6 in a gasoline powertrain. Here they are mounted solely with the V8 4.5 diesel, single turbo, and with a 5-speed manual gearbox. All up, the biggest difference between this and the real version is the real version does actually come with rear leaf springs. They do come with front and rear solid axles in real life. However, this one here is set up with the rear leaf, rear coilovers. Now I left it like that. You can buy leaf spring add-ons for this. This is a Traxxas chassis. Basically it is the chassis that I had on my yellow Defender. The yellow Defender still is at home and I can still use that until I actually purchase another Traxxas TRX4, which is in the works. At the moment I have to share this chassis with both bodies. So I wanted to take this quick video, guys, for you, just to let you see the performance. Funnily enough, it is very different from the performance that you saw on the Defender. So I had to make a lot of adjustments to make this drive the way it's driving now, because one issue you're going to have with this is the rear suspension. So if you look at the rear suspension there, I mounted this with a 11 o'clock, so an 11 o'clock suspension spring setup, and that for me now gives me the best articulation and also the best rebound for the shocks. I found that there's a few ways to mount the shocks. You can mount them on I think a 10 o'clock or a 9:45 configuration, and the only issue is that with that is you do get the articulation, but you don't get the rebound. So rebound meaning the springs don't want to rebound back to their standard state after articulating, which doesn't do you any good when you're trailing or crawling. It may do you good when you're rock crawling, to have so much articulation and almost zero rebound, but with trailing it doesn't. So it's performing well. It performs very similarly to the Land Rover. At the moment I am using the 1.9 bead locks along with the 1.9 4.75 inch tires from Proline. I am changing them, so I am going to be ordering the smaller wheels and tires, because this does need smaller wheels and tires to make it look more scale. At the moment, in 1/10 scale with these 1.9 tires and 4.75 inch wheels or tires, it looks like it's got 40 inch tires in real life, which, you know, some people may like the look of that, but I personally don't. And I will be changing the wheels and tires to 1.55 RC four-wheel drive wheels, or boom racing wheels, and I'll be mounting them with Pitbull 1.55 inch 3.95 diameter tires, or something along those lines. Electronically it does have the same electronics as I had on the Defender. It basically is pretty much still the Defender in chassis. I even borrowed the Defender's roof rack, which, as you can see, is mounted here, so I can put the traction boards on. And I had to make my own brace at the back, because the brace from Boom Racing is not available at the moment. It's all out of stock. As you can see, I did buy the bumper for it as well, which is the ARB licensed bumper with a Light Force LED lights. However, in real life, I think they are xenon. To make it look better, and also it does offer some protection at the front. I am not really happy with the bumper though, because the way it mounts up is very different to the way Traxxas bumpers mount up. They just don't offer so much rigidity or strength as the Traxxas one does. I think they're more for looks than protection. But look, it does the trick, and at the moment it makes it look a lot better than it would without the bumper there. So I wanted to keep this as short as possible. Hopefully it's given you some insight onto the performance. The way it's set up with the suspension mounted the way it is now gives me the best performance that I could get with this. It is still a little bit top heavy because of the roof rack. I have placed the spare tire, as I used to do on my Defender, on the top. However, it is too top heavy with that setup on. So if you are going to trail it, I do suggest taking the spare tire from the top and just running it like this. You can run it as a standard pickup. I mounted the roof rack on there just for a little bit of a different look over the standard pickup utility look, and it does still perform fairly well as it is. So until the new tires and the new wheels come on board, I won't be able to tell the difference between both, because this is still basically in the Defender format, but hopefully very shortly I can tell you the difference between both. And the other thing that's in the works, that's also on its way, is the extra speed cantilever shocks. They are on their way. probably be arriving in the next couple of weeks. So I will be demonstrating a difference between the extra speed cantilever shocks in performance and the standard way I've done the shocks now, which is I think called the droop setup. So it will give you an idea of how both work, and if it's worth spending the 60 Australian dollars to buy the cantilever shocks, or just leave it as it is in this format. The other thing that I wanted to mention is if you're going to use this setup, I've also purchased 75mm rear shocks and 80mm front shocks just to see how it is. Shortening the front shocks and shortening the rear shocks will mean I can mount the shocks on a 12 o'clock position like the standard Traxxas, and hopefully then, look, it'll lessen the articulation, but it'll give you the best rebound. So there's a few things in the works in terms of project, but we'll see how it goes. When they arrive, I'll be taking more videos. Any questions, guys, feel free to give me a call. Oh, sorry, not call. Send me a message, and I'll be happy to answer any of the messages that you guys send. As usual, I do try to answer every single person that messages me, and I do thank you for your support in the channel. And I hope you're staying safe wherever you are in the world. And until the next video, guys, thanks for joining me. Peace out.